Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on October 5th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you and please subscribe. Okay, so the object on my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 4, the 8, the 10, the 43, and the 53. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 4 was green, the 8 was green, the 10 was blue, the 43 was red, and the 53 was red. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 4 and the 8 were green. The 10 was blue. And the 43 and 53 were red. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I got 2 red, 2 green, and a blue for 3 colors total. So up here, I'm going to make this 371 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 3 color combination has now come up 196 times. Okay? So if you divide 196 into 371, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay? And to me, that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's my red numbers. Then the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. Okay, so what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers. I divided it by 5 colors. And that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay. And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible. Or a good representation of each color. Okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the 4, the 8, the 10, the 43, and the 53. The next line down is the 15, 23, 34, 51, and 55. And then it's the 37, the 23. I'm sorry, the 47, the 43, which is already taken. The 44, 45, and 53, which is already taken. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3 here, 1 is 4, 4 is 8, 2 is 10, 1 is 11, and 2 is 13. So up here, I'm going to make this 13. Okay, so up here tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to go with the 1, the 9, the 22, 36, and 68. The next line down is the 14, 19, 39, 47, and 51, which is already taken. And then it's the 11, 27, 31, 36 is already taken in the 67. And the last one is the 6, 17, 24, 53, which is already taken in the 57. So again, I'm going to make these orange numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3 and 3 is 6. 1 is 7, 3 is 10, 2 is 12, 3 is 15, and 2 is 17. Okay, so I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. Excuse me. So I'm going to scroll to the right, and this is what the game card looks like for October 5th, 2019. So you can see that I have 13 red numbers, 17 orange, 13 green numbers, 12 blue, and 14 purple numbers, okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy is for this color code is to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 376 drawings, okay? So it does come up, but it's very rare, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the game card and find out what numbers came up. So again, I have even, and 2 odds. So 3 even numbers and 2 odds. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this 417, okay? This is how many drawings I kept track of, and basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So here I'm going to write down, there's 2 odd numbers and 3 evens, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the majority. So I'm going to make this black, and I'm going to highlight this one. And now I'm going to make this 198. Okay, so out of 417 drawings, 219 drawings have come up odd numbers, the majority of odd numbers, and 198 drawings have come up the majority of even numbers, okay? So what I do here is I break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority again. So out of this 5 drawings, you can see the majority was odd numbers, 4 drawings to 1, okay? So as I go back into the history, I'm going to try to correctly guess what's going to happen here in the next drawing, this upcoming drawing. And what I'm going to say is I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, okay? Now, the thing about my game is that we're all going to look at this differently, okay? So we're all going to come up with a different result, okay? So you may look at this and say, no, I think it's going to be odds, okay, or whatnot. So again, I think more even numbers are going to come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write that down to remind me of what I picked. So again, I think more even numbers than odd numbers, okay? So moving on to the next one here, this is high and low. All the red numbers are considered high numbers. All the ones in blue are considered low, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say that I think more numbers to the low side are going to come up than the high. So I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to the low. Okay, so moving on, I got 2 more here. I got left and right. And what I'm going to do is As I look at this, I just see that the left kind of looks really sparse here. So I'm going to say that more numbers are going to be to the left side than the right side. So I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, and the last one, I got this red and blue area here. Okay, and I'm going to go with, I think more numbers are going to be in this red area than the blue. So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, this is just to remind me of what I picked, okay? So now I'm going to make that prediction on what color group will not be coming up, and I'm going to go with no blue numbers, okay? So the reason why is because a blue number has come up in the last 11 drawings, okay? And I just think that it's due to miss, like right here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all these blue numbers here, and hopefully none of these come up in the next drawing. Okay, so I blocked those out. So when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play, okay? So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 white ball numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only group with 9 numbers where the other 6 have 10. Okay, so why I did this is now I try to correctly guess what group will not be coming up. So let me update this here. So again, the 4 and the 8 came up. So I'm going to follow this plan until I find the 4 and until I find the 8 because they're both the same color, green. Okay. So I'm making these green. I'm making this 4 green because the 4 is green here. Okay. Now the 4 is green because the color code said it was green. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And again, there's 7 of these groups, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? Now the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. One, as I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, okay? And I'm going to go with the 50s, okay? So as I look through this, the average is 3 hits per 5 drawings here, okay? So some have more, some have less, okay? But since this 50 group has already had 3 hits to it within this 5 drawings, I'm going to say that it's done, okay? Because when I go back into the history, you can see that there was 4 here, there was 7 here, 5 here, okay, back to 3. So I'm going to say that this is done for the next 3 drawings. I don't think any 50 numbers are going to come up within this next drawing and, in fact, the next 2 other drawings as well, okay? So I'm going to blow this back up. I'm going to go back to the game card. And I'm going to eliminate the 50 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to find all the 50 numbers. So I'll start 50, 51, 52, 54, 55, 56, 57, 59. The 58's already gone, and the 53 as well. So I'll get rid of all those numbers, and hopefully none of the 50 numbers come up in this next drawing. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. It's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 4 different color groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these color groups down here in the stats. Okay, so again, the numbers were 4, which was in the red. The 8 is over here in the blue. The 10 is in the red. The 43 is in the orange, and the 53 is in the green. So again, I had 2 in the red, 1 in the blue, 1 in the orange, and 1 in the green. And when that happens, I call this a row. Okay, if there's 4 hits, so if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, like right here, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, now in the last drawing, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these blue numbers off of my game card and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction, and I'm going to start with this option card number 7, and I'm going to say that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this, and again, we're all going to look at this differently, but this has come up 43 drawings in a row that one of these green numbers have come up. Okay, now the old record, this is a new record. The old record was 33 drawings in a row. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I hope that none of these green numbers come up. So I got the 4 corners here, and then the middle, and then these 2, this pattern here, and then this pattern over here. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. So the 8 shares the square with the 66. I'll go over that in a second. And the 19 shares the square with the 67, so I'll get rid of that as well. Okay, so as you look at my game card, you can see that there's 5 numbers over here to the left. Okay, and as I go back to this group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here. Okay, so basically what I wanted is I wanted this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down. Okay, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the lottery. Okay, so what I had to do here is pair a couple of squares up. Okay, so again, the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 with the 65, the 53 with the 69, and the 58 with the 68. Okay, so if I get rid of all these green numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all these other green numbers as a group. Okay, so this is just my way of grouping up numbers. All right, so the next one I'm going to pick is option card number 12. No blue numbers. Okay, now the reason why I'm picking this one is because this pattern of a 1 in a 1 like this, okay, happens a lot. Like here it is again. Okay, here it is again. So it happens, it comes up a lot. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be here. Okay, and I'll be putting a 1 right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens, but I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers and the 16 to the 31 here off of my game card. So I'll get rid of all those numbers, and hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So that's all I'm going to pick from this group 1. So again, I have 15 of these option cards here. But there's a lot of variables with this, okay? There's only 4 colors, and there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So again, like here, you know, there's a row. So it's very hard to pick where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? But if you could do it, you could knock out between 16 and 20 numbers, okay? So I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, all right? Except with this one, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 8 different color groups here. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that number, those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and update this as well. So again, the numbers that came up were the 4, which is in green, the 8, which is in yellow, the 10, which is in blue, the 43 is in orange, and the 53 is in purple. So I always like to read things left to right, so I got a blue, an orange, a green, a purple, and a yellow. So down here is current. So I had no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. I had the one in the blue, the 10. I had one in the orange, the 43. I had one in the green, the 4. I had one in the purple area, the 53. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the brown area, no winning Powerball numbers in the gray area, and one in the yellow, that 8. So now over here, I'm going to put down how many groups hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the majority of the numbers is over here to the left side. So I'm going to make this 5 red. Okay, so if I'm looking in the history of things and I'm looking at this 3 for some reason, okay, I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side because the 3 is green, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where I think the 0 is going to be, okay? So one last thing that I want to point out is why the background is red here and blue here. So again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority. Okay, so out of this 5 drawings here, the majority was misses. 3 drawings to 2. So I colored background blue for cold. Okay, now the next one down, you can see that the majority is hits, so I colored the background red for hot. Okay, blue for cold, red for hot. Okay, now the reason why I do that is because when I see something like this that's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so my first pick here is I'm going to go with no brown numbers. I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of the brown numbers off of my game card. And the brown runs from the 6 down to the 62. So I'm going to get rid of all these numbers, and hopefully none of these numbers come up. Okay, so moving on to the next one, option card number 2. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so going back to this 2, I am going to go with no orange numbers. So here's the orange, and as I scroll down through, going to see that things are pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers, which run from the 17 to the 24. So I'll get rid of the 17, 20, 21, and 23. Hopefully none of these numbers come up. Okay, so moving on to number 3. I'm going to go with no gray. So here's the gray. You can see that things got pretty hot through here. Plus they hit 5 drawings in a row. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, which run from the 6 and the 35 to the 59. So I'll get rid of that 43. Hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to option card number 4. I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot down through here. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers, which run from the 21 to the 24 and the 49 to the 52. So I'll get rid of that 49. Hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to number 5, I'm going to go with gray again. So as I scroll down through, this one, the reason why I'm picking this is this has hit 5, 6, 7, 8 drawings in a row. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers. So I'll get rid of the 33, 42, and 36. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. And moving on to 6. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so get through them here pretty quick. So I'm going to go with the brown. As I scroll down through, oh, things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 8, 15, 24, 31 all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 15 and the 47. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to option card 7. I'm going to go with yellow. So here's the yellow. You see things got pretty hot through here. Okay, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers to 17, 26, 67, 28 all the way across. So I'll get rid of that 28. Moving on to option card number 8. I'm going to go with gray. So scrolling down. See, things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers to 3, 10, 67, 26 all the way down. And there's nothing to get rid of here. So here's the thing about these option cards, okay? So I keep track of everything about these option cards, okay? And basically, I keep track of what the averages are, okay? And the average runs between 3.8 and 4.2, okay? Now, what I mean by that, and what I'm trying to say here, is on average, between all 15 of these option cards, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, on average, okay? So, I made my selection here of gray. There was no gray numbers to eliminate off my game card. So, instead of coming back here and making another selection, okay? So, let's just say that I'm correct, okay? And none of these gray numbers come up, okay? If I come back to this option card number 8 again for another pick, my odds go way, way up that I'm going to get it wrong, okay? So what I did is I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again, okay? So here with option card number 9, I'm going to go with brown. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to see what numbers I get rid of. Now it's the pattern of 920 on the left side and 631 on the right side. So I'll get rid of the 9 and the 41. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay. So moving on to option card number 10. I'm going to go with brown again. So you can see that things got pretty hot through here. Okay. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. That's the pattern of 11, 26 in all 4 squares. And there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on to option card number 11. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red, and as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot through here, and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'll get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 6, 17, 35, and 56. So I'll get rid of the 25 and the 65 because they share the same square, okay? So if I get rid of that square, I'm getting rid of both of those numbers, all right? So moving on to option card 12, I'm going to go with purple. So here's the purple. You can see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. Now get rid of these purple numbers, and that runs from the 6 to the 30 and the 34 to the 68. And you can see there's nothing to get rid of, so moving on to 13, I'm going to go with brown. So scrolling down through, you see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. And that runs from the 29 to the 32 and the 57 to the 60. So I'll get rid of that 29 right here. So hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to 14, I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray. You can see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 8, 12, 24, 28, and then the 37, 41, 69, 57. And the only one to get rid of is this 12. So hopefully this 12 does not come up. Okay. And now moving on to 15, my last one, I'm going to go with brown. So scrolling down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And that runs from the 5 to the 32 and the 33 to the 60. So I'll get rid of that 5. Okay, so that brings me down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. All right. So what I'm going to do is go back to the 50-50 picks to get this down to 5 numbers where I need it. Okay. So the first thing is I think that more numbers are going to be to the even numbers than odd. Okay. So I got the 2, 4, and 44 that I definitely have to keep. Okay. If I think more even numbers are going to come up. Okay. Now I got more to the low, which is no problem. Okay. I got more to the left, which is no problem at all either. So now it's to the red. So I definitely got to keep these numbers here within the red here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the 50-50 picks. And I'm going to look at this this high and low here. Okay. So just a couple of drawings ago, all the numbers were to this high side. Okay. So I'm going to guess with this one that all the numbers will be to the low side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this 44. And the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 1, 2, 4, 7, 27. Okay, so with this, you can see that there's more even numbers than odd. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 7. Sorry about that, folks. I'm going to get rid of the 7, and as I go back to the 50-50 picks here with this left and right, I'm going to say that this is going to be a 5 here and 0 over here to the blue area here, okay? So the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 1, 2, 4, 27, and 44. So let me just highlight those. And again, I'm going to go with the 1, 2, 4, 27, 44. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said that it's a matter of deduction. Okay, so if these blocked out numbers do not come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay, so let's go over the official odds. Okay, now the official odds are 5 white balls and the red ball. Okay, that's to win the grand prize, and the grand prize for this drawing is 70 million. Okay, the odds of that are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it correct. Okay, so my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that this game is geared up for the white balls. Okay, and the odds of that are 1 in 11,688,000 plus some change here. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give out any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, basically it's just a fun way to pick your numbers. Okay, so another nice win would be 4 white balls and the red ball. Okay, that pays 50,000 plus the power play. Okay, the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, and then you can see the smaller prizes. 4 white balls will get you $100 plus the power play. Okay, 3 white balls will get you $7 plus the power play, and if you get the red ball correct, that's $4. Okay, so you can see that for the higher prizes, the odds are astronomical here. So I just want to go over a budget that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on a lottery. Okay, so I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers in the Powerball lottery. So over here in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Okay. Now over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay. So the reason why I do that is if I see a streak of blue like here, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay. So looking at this, I'm going to predict that this is going to stay low and that this is going to stay red. I mean, this is going to stay blue and this is going to stay red. And then the number I'm going to go with is the number 9. Okay, the 9 hasn't come up in over 100 drawings here. Okay, so I'm hoping that it's due to come up. Every other number has come up a couple of times, and this 9 has still not come up yet. So I'm hoping that it will come up soon. Okay, so here it is right here. And again, it just hasn't come up in a very long time. So we'll see what happens. And what I'm going to do is, in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.